Hi, beautiful souls. Today, I want to talk about why highly sensitive people replay conversations in their head over and over again. So, the reason that we do this is because one is depth of processing. We process everything on a very deep level, meaning that we look at it from many different angles, look at all the details, look at it from, not just different angles, but also different perspectives, what impact the past had, what could happen in the future. We just process at a very, very deep level. And we look at things in from multiple ways. And because of this depth of processing, we rerun conversations in our head because we're trying to understand it better. So if it was emotionally charged, for example, or if it was threatening in some way, or if you feel like we made a mistake, or someone judged us, or we could have done things differently or said things differently, we are going to process that in our head over and over again because we're trying to make sense of it. We're trying to learn from it. We're trying to process it. And this then, this loop then helps us kind of get regulated again. But if it's something that you don't like, you can also, there are techniques to use to stop the looping. And I'll get into that in a little bit. And then the other thing that could be happening is your empathy. Because we observe other people's emotions, when you have a conversation that felt charged, or that person felt like you felt like that person got hurt or was saddened, or some a negative emotion came out from them, or maybe they reacted strongly, then your empathetic nature is going to kick in and ask yourself, okay, did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Could I have done things differently? And you're just processing because you want to make sense of it. You want to understand it better. You want to learn from it. You want to know what you could have done differently, if anything. You want to just basically understand it better. And that's the reason that you're doing it. And also, if the situation made you feel like you were judged or you were shamed or anything like that, that puts you into the fight or flight state, so a dysregulated state. So when you replay things in your head, it helps you get regulated as well. But it also could be overwhelming and draining. So you may not want to do that ruminating, and you may want to stop it. So there are definitely ways that you could stop it in a gentle way. So just understanding what is going on, why, the reason behind your rumination or replaying the conversation in your head and having that loop really helps you. So the first thing that you could do is try to understand it. Ask yourself, first of all, name what's going on, and say to yourself, oh, I'm replaying this again. This is part of my sensitivity. This is because I'm trying to understand it and process it. And this is my body's way of protecting me, protecting my nervous system. So the first thing that you want to do is name it and just do a self-validation, saying it's okay. This is part of my sensitivity. Self-validation is really key to being able to let go. And then ask what your mind is trying to accomplish. Is it trying to make sense of it? Is it trying to see if, you could prevent a future embarrassment or a future judgment? Is it trying to feel seen or heard? Or is it trying to correct a mistake? So once you learn what this is about, what your system is trying to accomplish, that helps you let go easier. And then write it out. Write out what's going on. Writing helps with getting things out of your system and writing things. Just the action of writing, not typing, but actually writing, helps you get everything out of your system and out of your body and onto the paper. So it's a good way of letting go. In your journaling, what the questions that I like to ask myself is, what am I afraid happened or will happen because of what I said or what I did? What do I wish I had said or done differently? And then what boundary, if any, do I need to set now based on this conversation that occurred? So this really helps you also let go of that part of us where we want to be responsible for somebody else's reaction or what they said. We need to also understand that that person was part of the conversation. It's a two-way conversation, and we're not always responsible for other people's actions or reactions or emotions. And then close the loop consciously, meaning that you want to mindfully say to yourself, okay, I did the best I could in that situation, given the information I had at that time, given the knowledge that I had at that time. I did the best that I could. So now I can learn from it, grow from it, but I'm going to let this conversation go. I'm not going to run the loop in my head anymore. It's done with. I've processed it and I can let it go. And then do like a grounding activity that helps you ground yourself and bring your nervous system into a rest and digest state where your nervous system feels regulated and balanced. And then examples of that could be taking a brisk walk, doing a grounding meditation. I can put a link to a grounding meditation that I have, and you can use that grounding meditation if it resonates with you. And then next, that you can also do a visualization. Like, you can visualize putting this away. You visualize, for example, what I like to do is visualize that I have a box of thoughts and conversations and actions. And when this box is for when I find myself in this loop where I'm rerunning the conversation in my head. So what I do is I close my eyes and I visualize myself putting that conversation into the box and closing the box and locking it and saying, okay, for now, this is in the box. I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm not going to run this loop anymore. What I'm going to do is let it rest. And if I need to, I can come back to it later. So there is a possibility that I feel later on that I haven't processed everything and I need to revisit it, and I can do that. And then you start the whole process over again with naming it, journaling, etc. And then use the power of reframing. So instead of criticizing yourself or blaming yourself or saying anything negative about yourself, say, okay, what would a kind, loving friend say to me? Or even better, what would I say to someone that I love, a friend that I love? What would I say to them in this situation? And say that to yourself. Compassion, self-compassion, and self-love is so important as a highly sensitive person. You need that in order to be able to feel at peace in your life. And then the other thing I like to do is I like to let things go by taking, for example, pen. I take a pen, I say to myself, I don't want to hold this anymore. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to hold this loop in my head anymore, and I'm not going to run this conversation in my head anymore. I'm going to let it go. And then I close my fist on top of the pen, and then I let it go and I watch it fall to the ground. And that in my head is a great visualization because it resonates with me, and it because I use it so often, it triggers the fact that, oh, okay, this is what I do when I'm letting things go. And so my body is already aware of it, and it's already a part of my, it's a muscle memory, and my body will react to it. It's a great way of letting go. And then just overall try to think what you learned from it, because as highly sensitive people, we love to learn and grow. And this is a great, having this end the cycle of looping is, it can end with just asking yourself, okay, what did I learn from it? How did I grow from this conversation? What did it teach me? And that's a great way of ending this loop cycle. I hope this helps. I specialize in helping highly sensitive people live their best life by living in peace and letting go of judgment and living their best life and thriving in life. If that resonates with you, please book a complimentary session with me, and the link is in the description. If you like this content, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.